Podcast 6. Here we are. I'm back. You're back too. It's amazing. But I'm glad you are. And I think you're officially part of Scott's boring crew if you're here for Podcast 6. That's a good run. That's not just a flash in the pan. I think we're old friends by now. Look, I'm going to talk about my day a little bit. I'm not making any promises that it's going to be interesting in any way, but it'll be honest. And we're going to go on from there. And if you've been keeping track, I'm building a fence. And you know what? The fence isn't done yet. Now, you might be thinking that I'm lazy, that it should be done by now. And I'd say, hey, relax, back off. I'm doing my best. So the posts are in. It's quite the fence. It's really long. And, digging fence post holes is laborious. That's a funny word. I got a buddy helping me. He's helped me a lot over the years. Anytime I'm building something, when it gets a little bit beyond the normal DIY guy type of thing, which is what I am. I'm not a professional in any stretch of the imagination. I call him. His name's Laszlo. I don't know, I have no idea. He's kind of ageless. He must be in his 50s. Mid-50s. It's one of those dudes that it doesn't matter what you're doing, he knows how to fix it, or he'll figure it out. Kind of dude that if you'd want to be in a foxhole with. Kind of guy that if you're in a sailboat and you're out in the middle of the ocean and something goes wrong, probably want Laszlo with you. Good dude. One of those guys. Actually, I was trying to convince him to come on the podcast, but it's been an uphill battle. He probably is. I respect that. Good guy. Not coming on my podcast. One of those off-the-grid type dudes, you know? So, hard worker, my God. You're not twice my age, but almost, and, what was it? I was carrying a 2x4 on my shoulder, and he walked by me carrying two 2x4s, and I thought, shit. I don't love this moment. So, of course, I went and got another one. But aging's funny, man. I'm not a young man. Am I a young man? It's all relative, isn't it? Am I young? Am I old? I don't know, but you know what I am? I think this is fair to say, is I'm past my best before date. You know, as a human being, I've passed that time. I'm not miles past it, but I am past my best before date. Kind of, if you're in the you open the fridge and you're alone in your kitchen and you take something out, you really wanted it, then you notice, it's just past the date. But it's not far enough past the date. I'm far enough past the best before date that if you're alone in the kitchen and no one, you'd probably go for it. But if anyone was looking, you'd say, no way. So that's kind of where I am on the spectrum of life and the past best before date. And that's not an age thing. I think it's different for everybody. I'm kind of at the stage of life where I'm aging weekly. Like if you take a picture of me today and the next week you take a picture of me again and do so on, you would actually see me get older weekly. It's a hell of a thing. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I think it's just that's just how my DNA decided. It's like on the graph in these years of my life. It would just be like this down thing, like this plummet. And, whatever. It's going to level out. God, I hope so. I'm just going to turn to dust by the time I'm 42. I don't know. But it's okay. I'm okay with it now. I got used to it. For the most part. I do stupid shit still. I guess I kind of grapple with that sometimes. But shit happens and you're like, oh God, that's going to be a thing now. I guess I'll be dealing with that for the rest of my life. That's okay now. I just kind of, But when you kind of just past that best before date and things are happening, you think everything's a travesty. But now, you deal with it. I'm no angel, though. I mean, you know what I do, just between us gals? Oh, God. I use Just for Men. Dirty little secret. Stupidest thing. I do. What a can of worms that is. I always never thought I'd be that guy, but here I am. You know, I'll tell you how it happened. Slowly, I started finding out that other dudes past their best before date were doing it, and I didn't know they were doing it, because you always assume that it's obvious. And sometimes, most of the time, I think it is, but when it isn't, and you wouldn't know, so you don't know the stats there, do you? But what happened was that, like, when I was in the blue collar world, I kind of found out that, I swear, like 80% of dudes in their 30s were doing that. You know, we were around the break room table, and everybody was slowly confessing this one time. And it was this moment I'll never forget in my life, because I hadn't at that point. Actually, I wouldn't have had to then. But it was funny. Everyone's slowly confessing. What they were doing is naming the hair color they use. So one tough guy's like, A45. That's so much. They're all making fun of that. One guy kind of confesses, you know, like whatever it was, like B32, whatever that was. He was kind of a blonde guy or something. But it was funny, and you wouldn't have known. There's always that guy in the room where you fucking know it, and he should have knocked it off ages ago. But that's how come I got into it, because if everybody else is doing it, then, you know, you're watching the movies and stuff, you're like, well, all these fucking actors do that, so. But it's a slippery slope. I wish I never started this can of worms, right? Because at some point you have to knock it off. I'm probably getting close to it right now. And isn't that a shocker? It will be for me. My hair's kind of long right now, so whenever I just knock it off, I'll probably next year or something. It's going to be weird, because I'm going to cut my hair and then knock it off, and all of a sudden I'll have like long dark hair one week, and a couple weeks later I'll have short gray hair. It's going to be fucked up. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. What do you do, though? You gotta have to do it. I started it 4 years ago or something, and here I am at the crossroads of Just for Men. What a mess. How did I end up here? I wasn't expecting this. You never open a can of Just for Men thinking you'll end up 4 years later in this position, but here I am. It's a gateway thing. No, it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's a mess. It's just something you shouldn't do. Funny though, yeah, big gray beard and a shock of horse brown hair. That's fucked up. Can't be doing that, for crying out loud. Yeah. Getting older's funny. It's okay. It's better than the alternative, isn't it? But, you know, I find it annoying when people complain about getting older, especially when they're much older, because it's all relative. You know, you see somebody who's 60-something and you swear they're like a grandpa. They don't even think they need that cane, but they use it anyway, and they have these big, thick glasses, and they're dressed like a costume, like if you were going for Halloween as an old guy. They dress, you know, and that's okay. That's, you know, how they identify themselves, and they're happy, and that's all fine and good. But this, you know, you could be the same age and approach life very differently, I think. But you don't have to be dyeing your goddamn hair. You certainly shouldn't at that point. It's funny, all the guys I look up to do, though. Like Slash, I think is the coolest dude in the world. Maybe the second coolest. First is Duff. Slash plays guitar for Guns N' Roses. Duff plays bass guitar for Guns N' Roses. Cool fucking dudes. And they dye their hair. Axl dyes his hair, but he's a train wreck. We're not going to go there. I like Axl. Maybe we should leave him alone, actually. But, you know, he should probably, well, or would he look better with gray hair? I don't know. Maybe not. But we're all vain, aren't we? Men and women alike. And I'll tell you, not a single woman will ever be like, oh, you should dye your hair. They all say, oh, salt and pepper is great. Gray hair is distinguished. It's great. Yeah, fine. That's probably true. Maybe some of it's just not true. Whenever you could tell, it's a problem. But, like these old guys like Slash and, all the Aerosmith guys, all the older rocker guys, almost all of them. It's tough, right? I think they can get away with it maybe more than, the accountant up the street. I like how a lot of them will have it's like a shock of black hair or dyed black hair, but they have that one gray streak in the front saying just kind of like, I don't know what that's supposed to say to the world, but saying like, I know I'm old, but fuck you. Or maybe they're like, no, it just naturally happened that way. But as my wife likes to remind me, I'm not Slash or Joe Perry, so we'll have to knock it off. But now you're going to have to really make a big step, though. Yeah. Shouldn't have started that. I'm not Slash, am I? Ooh, kidding. Just for men. Ridiculous. I heard a comedian. I wish I could reference his name. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but I will anyway. He was saying how he was at a concert, a metal concert. And he was about my age. And when he was at the door, of course, the security guy goes, you're going to have to take off that chain that goes from your belt to your loop. And you have to take that spiky bracelet thing off and your collar thing. You have to take all that off. And he goes, oh, right, I understand. It could be used as a weapon. And the security guy goes, no, you're 38. I thought that was funny. That's not my joke. I'm repeating it. I'm not popular enough to worry about that, though. Maybe if somebody knows the comedian that coined that joke, you can email me and I'll credit him. Joe Rogan's going to come and kick my ass for stealing a joke. Concerts are fucked up. When I go to a concert, what I think would be great is whenever you get the ticket online, you get the profiles of everybody that sits around you. Like, I want to know, because that's going to influence my decision. I went to a Nick Cave concert, and I love Nick Cave. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. And it was basically ruined because of this dickhead in front of me. This loser, this fake enthusiasm and this loser wife with him just being loud and obnoxious. And every now and again you'd look around like, whoa, how come everybody's not acting like me? Like, we're all a bunch of losers. He had zero loser tuning fork, zero loser self-awareness. Anyway, that's not a bad idea. Concert, you get the Facebook profile, maybe, I don't know, something. And you can make some judgments. You just that guy has a profile picture with a shirt off. Okay, well, he's a douche, won't be going near there. Yeah, there's ways. Maybe some kind of algorithm. That'd be a great app. Some kind of app to make sure you don't sit. I don't want to be a front row seat, or not front row, but what is supposed to be a great seat, whatever that is the worst seat of the house if you're surrounded by idiots. I'd rather be in the nosebleeds with, a bunch of Scott's boring crew. Just taking it easy. Not trying so hard. But, a little confession there. No Just for Men thing. I'm past my best before date. But it doesn't matter, because I think I will never stop dreaming. When you stop dreaming, you're dead. And I don't care if you're 22, 42, or 82. If you want to start a rock band, if you want to, anything that's typically something you do when you're in your early 20s, or even younger. Go to Hollywood and try to be an actor. It's kind of cool. Imagine someone in their 70s doing that. That's awesome. It's not too late. It's never too late to do whatever it is, to start that company, to whatever. I'm a big believer in that. And the world around you tries to tell you otherwise. It's not too late. I remember whenever I must have been in my mid-20s, and I was in Montreal going to a rehearsal place with a drummer. a guy from the town I grew up in. And on the way, he was saying, this is just a bunch of nothing. Doesn't matter how good we are. We can never, we'll never have any success. We could just, have some fun, but any idea of success in any measure, forget about it. And I said, why? He says, we're too old. Too old now. I think I was probably 27, maybe. I think younger. And he told me that, and I remember believing him to some degree. How crazy is that, Because he figured you have to be like 20 or something. I don't know. I don't know why I believed him. But I remember at the time feeling a little bit of sunken, like, oh, maybe it is too late. Or, I don't know. I remember around the same era, I went to a studio to record 2 songs. One was called Night Train Blues, and the other one was called 1729. And I couldn't afford it. I sold my shitty car. It was so expensive. It was like $2,500 or something for the 2 songs. Looking back, I'm like, they could have given me a deal. It was so obvious I was broke as fuck. I can't imagine, like, I have a studio now. I can't imagine charging somebody that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this conversation I was having with the engineer, and he was telling me it's too late, man. Or not so much it was too late. He was talking about how it's I didn't have a MySpace page. And what's the point? These songs don't matter what I'm doing. It's all about the MySpace page. And you got to work on that, and this whole spiel about that. And I remember thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I somehow have to figure out how to be cool on MySpace. And I tried, Of course, it's ridiculous. And so here I am now, a decade later, and it's not so different. And it's not too late. It really is true. But now, with social media, I do get overwhelmed with that in a way. I still get caught up in that thing, like that engineer was kind of getting my head about a decade ago. Still today, but obviously it's Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and this podcast. Although I love this podcast so far, so this isn't just a big selling platform. This has been fun, but yeah, sometimes it's just like it seems all very silly. I think I'm gonna start a website, so just one place where everything could live. So I'm kind of spread thin. I got the band, I have the music. I'm about to start a company, and then you have your personal thing, then you have the Instagram. I don't know. It's all gonna have to get married into one thing. So I guess that is a website. And then at the end of the day, that none of that matters. You'd have to do something great, something you're really proud of. And if you're truly proud of it, I think, and just keep that up consistently, the world your world will find you. Ah, boy, I'm starting to sound like one of those dickheads. Okay, so the premise of this whole thing is getting older, and what we're leading up to is the song of the day. And the song of the day is called Rust in My Bones. And what I like about this one is the premise. And I like how the hook, the guitar riff, everything is just the kind of thing that you come up with and you have a little bit of fun with. And you say, I'm just going to put this away now. I'll try to find something really badass or a little more dissonance, or I'll sit down and write a real song. And this is just something that came very naturally, musically, and it all just fell together. And I don't care for 1 minute if it comes off cheesy or hokey or anything like that. I like it. I like the premise. I love playing it. And if you ever do see me live, there's a good chance I'll close with this song. Before I read through the lyrics, I just wanted to mention really quickly 3 gentlemen that I kind of lump into one reference in the song, and that is James Hetfield, Lyle Lovett, and Nick Cave. I kind of lump them in one reference, and they may not be an obvious trio. I think maybe Lyle Lovett is the most obvious odd one out, but it's not, because to me the common denominator is how they conduct themselves, how they conduct their lives, where they are in their stage of life, and generally how they conduct themselves is just I really admire. It's a quality that I admire as a young man, and something I hope to be, something I aspire to be as I grow older. And that's what this podcast is all about, as I'm sure you could tell by this point. And that is what the song is about, how we're going to finish. So James Hetfield, doesn't get much cooler than that. Just a real dude. And, you see him in interviews, watch someone try to throw him off, and it's not going to happen. All three, Lyle Lovett is, watch him in an interview. The classiest guy you'll ever hear and see. His songwriting, the way he conducts himself when he's singing and he plays his guitar, as a man, it's just something I really admire. Lyle Lovett, and I'm a hard rock guy, so maybe not an obvious choice, but I'm telling you, if you check him out, even if you're like me and the country stuff is not for you, don't dismiss Lyle Lovett. And Nick Cave. I can go on and on and on about Nick Cave, and I won't. I assume you know who he is, and he's the coolest dude in town. But the thing is, they're all badass in their own way, and their art is not agey. It's just aged well. It's just it has a weight behind it, and to have that weight behind it, it doesn't have to be heavy. Love it's not heavy. Nick Cave isn't heavy. James Hetfield isn't always. They all have this weight behind what they do. And they all can be pretty thrash. Well, aside from Lyle Lovett, Nick Cave can be really thrashy. He might not appreciate me using that word. Certainly as a young man, he was. Almost had like a violence behind what he did. But see him in an interview in his day-to-day in a tailored suit, complete class and confidence. And, I don't think as a young man, there's not many dudes to look up to. I mean, you get rid of the toaster head jock athletes, you get rid of them quick, because that's no good. Forget the most part musicians, politicians forget about it. There's lacking there. So, I see these three gentlemen as, somebody I admire, three men I admire who have aged well. And if I age half as well as they have, well, that would be great. So before I read through the song, I'm going to do the tradition of reading the news feed on Facebook, the first couple things that come up, and I'll just read them. It doesn't matter what it is. And I'm looking at it now. It's Patrick McGrail. And it says, to be determined, the baddest boy there ever was, 1961. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is Patrick as a very young man. It's funny, you see, somebody in their 60s, maybe their 70s even. You see a picture of them as a child, and you can tell. And I can tell. I don't like that. All right, a couple more. This is Anna Todd. It's a woman whom I really look up to. Really love this woman. She, my wife and I both look up to her. She's a very strong... She's a leader, and support her, and she's been very nice to us. So it's a sponsored thing. It's a movie that she's produced, and she wrote a book. And I'm talking slow because I'm looking at the trailer, and man, it looks high budge. Man, it looks kind of hot, pretty sexy stuff, man. It's the first I've seen it, and. Wow. It looks good. Looks like the real deal. Super hot, man. Okay, I'm gonna move on. But I was just the movie's called After. So Anaton, nice lady. I hung on that one a little bit longer than normal because it's the first I saw it and I was curious to see it. That's the real deal. Cool. Okay, one more. Julie McKinnon. I think we've read one of hers before as well. And she says, okay, lovely people, this is our chance. It's incredibly... Okay, to vote, right? Yeah, just saying. Come on, people, vote. Like. Oops, I don't know if I liked Anna's. Like. There we go. Okay, that's 3. All right. So, I'm going to say bye now, and thank you for spending some time with me. I appreciate it. I hope everything is going well in your life. And if it's not, life is nuts. It can be fucked up sometimes, and if it's messed up right now, it'll level out. Relax. It's fine. Shake it off. I'm going to read the song. Thanks again. This is podcast 6. The song is called Rust in My Bones. I'm going to read it out, play the song, and that's it. All right, here it goes. I trust by the end of the 9th that you'll know my name. I see Hetfield, Lovett, and Cave. I know it's not too late. I'm going to push it as far as it goes with rust in my bones. I love how you help me forget the rust in my bones. Move once in a while, and you'll feel it break. Fighting for something to hold, I know I'm not alone. They'll say that you're stark raving mad if you break from the mold. I'm going to push it as far as it goes with rust in my bones. I love how you help me forget the rust in my bones. Trust me, the cobra snake poison is not what it seems. The rats in the cage and cool kids let time get away. I smoke and I smile and I drink with rust in my bones. I love how you help me forget the rust in my bones. We're all rolling stones. I love how you help me forget the rust in my bones.
I trust